Hello everybody, today I'm doing a video on the cost of care, kind of an estimate, a guide for when you realize that your parent might be needing a little bit of additional assistance, kind of give you a cost of care estimates per state so you can do some planning, and I hope this helps you once your parent is having a health decline, either physical or mental, so that you and your family can figure out the best option. So of course what is the most important is the best care for your parent's situation, and second is the cost from what your family can afford. And I'm going to kind of break down what I found and share that with you to hopefully make this process a little bit easier. My name is Dawn Dickinson. My channel is Reflections and Insights Over Life Over 55. The reason I'm doing this video today is about a month ago I started posting some videos on my journey dealing with my mother's dementia. Now my mother has both the vascular and the Alzheimer's, and so I thought I would share some of these stories because I see a lot of you people are going through similar things, and so I think it's very important for us to share information and support each other emotionally as well. So one of those videos, the issue of cost kept coming up, and people might say, oh, I am in the East and I pay $15,000 a month, and oh no, I am in the Midwest and I pay $6,000 a month. So I got to thinking, what would be the average cost per state to put your mom or your dad in either assisted living facility or maybe a nursing home? Which states are more expensive and which ones are less? And I actually went to the artificial intelligence ChatGPT interface and I asked, could you tell me the top 10 costliest states to put your mom in in a nursing home? And I kind of blew up the ChatGPT. It said error, it went spinning and then it gave me an error, and I did this several times and finally I gave up. So I did a little bit of research on the internet, and I'm going to share with you what I found today so that you'll have an idea. And I know some of you are going to complain, get to the point, but I really need to set this up so that you know where the data are coming from in order to make your decision. And also, in one of my former lives, I was a data analyst, so I'm a little bit geeky when it comes to this type of information. So what I did is I went to the internet and I found this company, Genworth.com, which I believe does some type of services and provider, but they do a survey every single year. They go out by state and they collect data from facilities, and they generate the median cost per month to put to get care for an adult who needs extra care. And so this is the website I found, and it reports in 3 buckets. So the first bucket, and the first page I'm showing you right here, is national average. So the bucket, you have the home healthcare aid. Now that was a little bit misleading. Not misleading, I just had a hard time figuring out what exactly does that mean. Does that mean you have a 24-hour nurse coming in and checking on your parent, or is it something different where they periodically check in and leave you alone at night? I don't know. This home health aid could be an option for people who have parents that have their own home, and yet maybe you live out of state and can't be there as much, and you're thinking of keeping your mother or father in their own home, and you would want to have somebody in the home with them. So there are a couple things to consider here. First of all, you're seeing at the national level, the aid is about $5,200 a month. So say you have the house and it's all paid off, but you have expenses to running the household. So you've got, for instance, if the mortgage is not there, you still have the homeowners association, you have the homeowners insurance, you have property taxes, you have the utility bills, you have satellite TV, for instance, you have food. You need somebody to come in and clean because your parents won't be able to do that anymore. You'll have to have somebody do the gardening, and so all these costs are going to cost quite a bit. And so say in addition to the $5,200 a month, you have another $2,000 a month to maintain the household. So that actually puts you above the cost, the median cost of assisted living facility, and close to or at the cost of a private room in a nursing care facility. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is that the best choice for your parents, because you have a couple of things to consider. One is their safety, of course, right? Because even with the 24-hour nurse, your parent could still get up and walk outside and fall into the swimming pool and drown. That actually happened to somebody I know. Or they could wander outside, and in Phoenix in the summertime, it was 119 today in the Valley of the Sun. I'm in Sedona, where it was super hot at 106. But you walk out there and get lost, and you've got about 3 hours. Or again, this could happen in the wintertime and freezing conditions. So the safety of your mom being in their own home, and then the other is the isolation factor. They can get lonely now. They're not able to go out, and the only people they're talking to maybe would be the nursing facility when the family comes to visit them, even if it's once a day, right? In the assisted living facility or in the nursing home, there's a lot of social interaction, there's a lot of activities that are planned, so sometimes that could be a better situation for your parent, even if you have the money to maintain them in their home. So the other number I'm looking at here is the assisted living facility. Again, this is the national average. They're saying $4,500 a month. I actually think that is quite low. Now realize this is 2021 data, the most recent data, 2 years old, and so we have inflation, so you're probably going to add at least 10% to these prices, maybe 15-20%. So $4,500 seems low, but I think the reason it's low is because there are a lot of these mom and pop small facilities where somebody might buy a giant house with 6 bedrooms, and they will have maybe 6 to 8 clients living in there, and it's kind of a low budget home, and those probably are skewing the numbers, bringing it down. Because when we put my mother in a beautiful assisted living facility in Goodyear, I think it was Pebble Creek, a couple of years ago, we were paying $5,200, $5,500 a month. This is 2020, and it was an apartment with a beautifully remodeled apartment with a great kitchen, laundry room, bedroom, bathroom, balcony that looked over a beautiful courtyard, and people came in, brought her food, cleaned, did her laundry, and then she also was able to go down and do all the shared facilities. So very nice facility, but very quickly after that we had to move her into a long-term memory care facility. So, but that is why I think this price is low. Now when it comes to the nursing home facility, it's a little bit difficult for me to figure out what types of facilities they were including in that. I think they are including a mix of regular nursing homes where physical things are being taken care of, and you could have higher prices because you're thinking of maybe dialysis might cost extra, and then you have the memory care mixed in. So these are national averages. Now I wanted to rank these numbers by state, and I couldn't do it with this website. So what I had to do is I had to go in and I had to type Arizona, for instance, right? And then it pulls back the data for Arizona. And I went and I took all these numbers and cut and paste them, and I put them into a spreadsheet. So I put the spreadsheet together, geek that I am, and I'm going to put an equivalent of this somewhere where you could download it and look at it if that would be interesting to you. What I have here is the source of the survey, the company, the fact that it's 2021 data, and we're reporting median values, not averages, median values per state for the cost. So let's take a look here. Right here on the top is the national average, but I sorted it first from most expensive to least expensive. So the most expensive state by far is Alaska at almost $32,000 a month to put your parent in a private nursing home, and it's like, wow, you know, you're bankrupt in about 2 or 3 months if you live in Alaska. But now scrolling down the side, you could see a lot of these states are still pretty expensive. Connecticut, very high at $15,000. Hawaii, you expect Hawaii to be expensive, right? Because everything is expensive in Hawaii, but still, you know, $14,000. Then you're starting to talk about the East Coast states. You got Massachusetts, New York, Minnesota. I was surprised. I thought that would be a little bit lower. North Dakota, Delaware, West Virginia, California, all the very high cost states for a private nursing home room. Say, you know, you're going 15,000, 14,000, 13,000, you know, still at 12,000 about halfway through. Arizona down the list where I am at, you know, still 8,000 a month average for a nursing home facility. So, very expensive. Now, if you want to go from the bottom up, let's stop at the very cheapest state. Like, wow, if you live in Missouri, you're getting a bargain at $6,000 a month for a nursing home. But the majority of the states that are cheaper, which is still super expensive, seem to be in the Southeast or the Midwest, where you've got Missouri, the cheapest at $6,000, LA, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, Alabama, Texas, Illinois, Mississippi, Iowa, Georgia. So those states are the cheapest for a nursing home, but still you're 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 7,000 a month. Now keep in mind that this is probably more than the average American earns per month, the median value, before giving Uncle Sam the enormous share. So it's very difficult for families. You know, you got to actually live yourself and support your family, and now this amount to pay for your mother's or father's care. It's very difficult to do. Now, how do people do it? The government doesn't help at all until you have spent every last dime of your family's legacy. So in my case, for instance, what we did is we sold my mom's home, the home she, not the home that she and my dad had, but, the one that she had lived in by herself for the last 20 years. And we took the proceeds from that home and combined that with the little bit of widow's benefits she gets from Social Security, which pays about a quarter of it. And so we, at the time, figured the proceeds from that home would pay for care for about 8 years. Now, that was before we realized that inflation was going to go nutso, right? So we started out at about $5,200, $5,500 a month, thinking we had 8 years, but now we're at $6,800 a month. And it's going to keep going up. So maybe 6 years before the money runs out. We're about 3 years. And the thing is, if you are, or if your parent is a dementia patient, this is a very long, slow, progressive disease. It's uncertain how long that will need this type of care, but just realize the need for care is going to be very intense. And you could be very well intended and thinking, I'll just have my mom move in with me and take care of myself, but I'm sorry, but that's going to be unrealistic when they get to the end stages of their disease. Because what will happen is, first of all, unless you are a skilled nurse, you're not going to be able to lift your mom in and out of bed, for instance, bathe your mother, or give her the medical care that she needs without hurting yourself or without hurting you. Like, imagine if you're trying to put your mom in bed and she falls and breaks her hip. You want that on you. A skilled nurse has to do that. And then the other thing is, if you have a job, you need to actually earn a living. You can't spend the time giving the care. And then, of course, the final thing is you can't be watching 24 hours. Say you have to go to the bathroom, you have to take a shower, you have to cook a meal. Your parent could walk out and fall in the swimming pool, or they could walk outside and get lost. And, when it's 119 degrees in Phoenix, that's about 3 hours before someone's a goner, or in the winter time, freeze to death very quickly. So the safety is something you have to consider. So this type of care could very well happen, and you could have very well-meaning intentions, and it's just physically difficult to do. Now, what I know will come up is you might be like, I can't afford $30,000 a month to do a nursing home, and I live in Alaska. So again, I'm just trying to report what it's like. I don't know what to do when you run out of money. Like, once our family runs out of money in about 3 years, I don't know what's going to happen then, but I wanted to kind of give you these costs of a breakdown so that you can plan, and then just feel like there's no shame if you have to use a nursing facility. And we shouldn't shame each other, because this is happening to more and more of us. I think dementia is a growing disease, but there are other diseases too, cancer, diabetes, which might have your parent in a home. If you've got dialysis, for instance, you may need to have extra care. So I want you to keep these in mind, and I want us to be supportive of each other, no shaming each other, and hopefully we can all, at some point in the future, come up with some kind of solution that will keep us from bankrupting families on the end-of-life care of their parents. So my name's Dawn Dickinson. This is the personal channel where I post stuff that is not business. Basically, here's where I post everything I want. So I hope the video was helpful. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor and hit the like button and all that stuff. I hope you subscribe, because I'm putting this type of information out every single week, and that will help other people find this information if they're looking for something and needing help with their parents. So hope you enjoy, and hope to see you back here again next week.